What's up, guys? We are back with another Super 7 Ultimates Wave 1 Transformers review, taking a look at, to me, this is the oddball in the wave, in the line so far. Even though we've got two Action Master figures, this is the oddball for me. We're taking a look at STARSCREAM's Ghost, or the Ghost of STARSCREAM, because why not? Why not do the glittery, translucent one before you get the regular one? If anything, it makes a lot of sense just based on how Super 7 operates. Now, of course, he comes in our standard style packaging for the line. You've got that black grid patterning. You've got a silvery, metallic sort of, line art drawing with the little sparkles that you get for the Ghost of STARSCREAM. And then you've got a silver embossed Decepticon logo on the back. Now, of course, slipcover, pop this off, and you've got the figure there in all of his glittery glory in the big window. You've got your classic Decepticon Transformers logo down there, and then the back gives you that, very vintagey style power rating ranking system with the sort of line art drawing for STARSCREAM. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Ultimates Ghost of STARSCREAM figure. This guy, I'm not so sure he was exactly what I thought. I mean, he's very much in the realm of what I thought we were getting, but he still ended up being a little bit different just because of how he's constructed. So this guy is like hollow. He's not just translucent plastic that you can see through. He's literally very hollow throughout the figure, especially the ankles, the calves, the arms. There's a lot of hollow parts, so he's very light in comparison to other figures. It's not like a real negative or anything. It's just sort of something that caught me off guard, I suppose. He is, however, a fully translucent figure covered in glitter with all of this crazy different color translucent parts. So there's a lot here to enjoy, especially if you like translucent figures. And I've said it a bunch. I do. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He's very similar to the other figures in this wave. He's got some similarities to Optimus, but some similarities to the Action Masters too. So he's got a head that can look up slightly. He can look down a little bit. You do have a little bit of bobble, but the pylons get in the way. You've got your twist there. Drop down shoulders like Optimus, so arms go out. They, of course, can rotate. You do have to watch the wings. The wings are on hinged balls, so you can flip them and twist them if you need to. Of course, they generally are just like this, but you can move them around if you want to kind of just get them out of the way. You do have your bicep swivel. The guns are just pegged in and they can swivel. He surprisingly is still able to do 90 degrees on the elbow, where Optimus can't. He can, which is kind of weird to me. You do have hinges and rotation at the wrist. The torso does have a waist twist. Let me move these wings back just a little bit, just to kind of get them out of the way. You can twist slightly, so the cockpit goes into this notch here, and if you can get it up and around, you can maybe get him to move a little bit more, but the twist is minimal at best. He does have a crunch, surprisingly, so he can do this sort of bob maneuver. He can't shimmy side to side or anything like that. He does have like this sort of diaper thing going on. This is like a jelly almost. It's like those old jelly glitter shoes that girls used to wear. You can kick the legs out to the side. You can kick them forward. You do have to watch, though, because you're going to start to deform this, so be careful. And then you've got a little bit of a twist here, but you've got to have it kind of in the right spot. So there is a thigh cut up there. Single jointed knees, of course. I mean, look at that big honking hollow calf. It's huge, but it's fully hollow. And then we've got our ankle down here, which this doesn't really do a whole lot. It moves, but it doesn't really help him pose. And then there is a rocker, but only when the ankle is pushed down. It's more like a toe hinge, really. So he's very similar to some of the other figures, but he's also unique. These wings definitely get in the way, so you do have to watch what you're doing. Like I said, it's just on a hinged ball peg, so you can sort of pop it in, put it where you need it to go, and he's good to go. I do think this guy is definitely more of a form over function kind of figure. He's definitely a showpiece because of all the craziness with his construction, materials, and finish, but he still does move relatively normally compared to the other Transformers in this line so far. And that said, I kind of go into this one thinking that this is one of those Ultimates where the way he looks is more important than what he can do. At least for me. There are distinct articulation limitations across this line. There is no doubt about it, and there's not really any way to sugarcoat that. A lot of these figures do have issues just because of the articulation scheme with Ultimates and the fact that these guys can be so boxy. Starscream, Optimus are definitely the boxy figures when it comes to this wave. But I would wager that a lot of folks that are interested in this guy are very much into translucent figures, because this isn't necessarily a figure that everybody has to have. This is not a must-have. Unless you're a completionist or you really like the Ghost of Starscream, this is one where you could say, well, maybe I would just wait until the regular one comes around, because they've got the mold, they're going to make a regular one. I mean, what's the chances of them not doing that? This guy really seemed like an exclusive of some kind. You know, a retailer exclusive, a convention exclusive, but it's also one of those weird things that Super 7 likes to do, or you get the goofy figure that you didn't expect to get. And I really do like the way this guy looks. There is maybe one thing that I don't like about him, and it's something about the head. Looks a little bit long in the face, almost like it's something about it just seems a little bit, I don't know, too long. But the shape is there. The smirk on his face looks really good. The red eyes. It's like the one area that's not entirely translucent because you've got a fully painted face. But the rest of this guy is truly just about, you know, this visual of this, you know, ghostly Starscream. And this is kind of the motif when you get a Starscream Ghost toy. They're translucent, they're glittery to some degree, and this guy is, I mean, he's playing up that aesthetic really well. So a lot of different molded colors for Starscream, blues, kind of the smoky translucent clear, basically, and then you've got a lot of red. And I think they did a great job putting him together with all of this translucent stuff. It works really well. It sells the idea. It makes him look very spooky, very spirit-esque. And I think he looks really good. You've got your Decepticon logos emblazoned on the wings. You've got the stripes that are painted there. The cockpit is painted a little bit, and it's kind of hazy in comparison to the rest of the body. But it's really one of those figures that kind of comes down to you're either into this aesthetic or you're not. I don't know that, again, I don't know that this is the one that everybody has to have, but I think if you really like translucent stuff, you're going to be a big fan of this figure just because, I mean, he just looks cool. Like, that's really what it is. I like this kind of thing. I like translucent figures. I like these, like, goofy metallic, which is what I'm kind of getting from the glitter aspect of it. This kind of different finish works for me as a collector. But I do think he looks pretty cool. The sculpt is fantastic. I mean, he very much looks like an animated Starscream to me. Very, very boxy. Got these huge, I mean, huge monster calves and ankles down here. But he's a cool looking figure, if not for the fact that I do think maybe he is a little bit, I don't know, long in the face and not as accurate as I wanted him to be up there. It's close, but something about it throws me off just a smidge. And then for a few size comparisons, you know, here we go with some other Ultimates to start with. So we've got Optimus, of course, from this wave, and you can see he's still a little bit bigger than Starscream. He's not huge by comparison, but he definitely still has a little bit of height, and he has some bulk on him too, especially when it comes to the weight department, since, you know, Starscream is hollow. And then we've got just a regular, you know, a more normal Ultimates with Pumra over here on the right. Now let's do a few different lines just to give you an idea, because of course, you know, a lot of these Transformers in Wave 1 are all slightly different. They aren't exactly uniform across the board at all. We've got, here's a Marvel Legend, so here is the symbiote Spider-Man. So you can see what he looks like next to a Hasbro Marvel offering. And then let's do a Star Wars. So here is a Death Watch Mando, and you can see, of course, you know, just being Ultimates in general, he's going to tower over them. And then for another Hasbro line, let's do a Transformers Red line. And I don't have the red Starscream because I pretty much stopped buying these a while back, but there is the Megatron, and you can, of course, see that he is super tiny, but this line runs small anyway. And then let's do one more non-Ultimates, but 7-inch scale figure. Here is a Masterverse figure. So here is Spikor, of course, from Mattel. So you can see he's going to stack up with 7-inch stuff pretty well. He's going to tower over anything Hasbro related for the most part, though, which is very much par for the course, very normal when it comes to Ultimates in general. And then as far as accessories goes, Starscream doesn't have a lot, and this is kind of, I think it's a victim of Optimus having a ton by comparison. You know, when you cost it out across an entire wave, Optimus has an absolute mountain of accessories, and somebody's got to get the short end of the stick. Maybe when Starscream is brought back to life in regular form, he'll have a bunch of weird, goofy stuff, but as far as the Ghost version, he doesn't really get a lot. So we do get some hands. He comes with fists on him in the box. You get this sort of a very Starscream pose hand. So a right hand where he's sort of like, you know, saluting or giving an order. You know what this hand is for. We've got a left gripping, menacing, gesturing hand, and then we get a set of trigger finger gripping hands, but he doesn't have anything to hold. You know, if you want to take Optimus's spike and put him in his hand, you can do something like that, obviously. He can hold other things, he just doesn't come with anything to hold. We do get an extra animated style head. So this is just him grimacing, and I like this one quite a bit. This is probably going to be the one I use when it comes to this figure in general. I do prefer it over the smirking head. This one I think is the one that kind of throws me off a little bit, but this one's all right. And then we got what is probably my favorite accessory in this set, although I'm still probably going to stick to this head, is the G1 toy inspired head. So this is a very different sculpt. You know, it's wider. He's got like the things that stick out the side of his head, and he's got that really small boxy face with the big bulging yellow eyes. It's of course done up in translucent plastic. It's kind of a smoky color, and there's more of the glitter in there. So I do really like this one. It kind of throws off the, you know, the cartoon aesthetic in some ways, but I do think it's a cool option if you want to screw around and, you know, just change them up a bit. So you've got 3 distinct heads for this guy. You've got the smirking animated, the stoic animated, and then your G1 toy. So like I said, he doesn't come with a ton. I like what he has. I do kind of wish there was maybe something else thrown in here, but he does have a few things if you want to change up how you display this guy. So overall, I'm pretty happy with STARSCREAM, although he does, of course, have some issues. You know, he does have limited articulation at the torso and the waist, and then you do have very limited articulation at what would be the feet because of just that design. There's not a whole lot of room to play down there. Otherwise, though, he does have pretty solid movement at the head, at the arms, the shoulders, the elbows, and then, of course, you've got movable wings as well. But he's truly a form over function kind of figure for me. The look, the aesthetic, this crazy translucent glitter thing that they've got going on makes him so different from every other figure in this wave, not to mention really Ultimates in general for the most part, that he's definitely going to stand out on the shelf. He's definitely going to, you know, grab your attention. He does, of course, come with a relatively small number of accessories. I'm hoping that when we get the regular version down the road, maybe they'll be able to flesh those out a little bit more, but you do at least have a few options if you want to change him up a little bit. Give him the stoic head, give him the toy head if you want to do something like that. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super 7 Ultimates Transformers Wave 1 Ghost of STARSCREAM. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.